I don't think I can. That's unfortunate. You think they'll give me a stress test today?
I heard them saying it was 3 hours to someone else, so I don't think they'll do that today.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. They're running a little behind today, so we'll see what happens. Look at you. Oh my goodness, you got the claws. Hi, bud. You're sweet. You're about ready to eat, ain't you? Yeah, us too. Dinner's actually cooking. So first off, hi everyone. Welcome to Friday. Let me use this opportunity to talk a little bit about how my cardiology appointment went. You want to come up here? Huh? Come on. Here, does that work better for you? Find a way up. You can do this. You up here? You want a lap? I swear he'll be up here in a second. He jumps up here all the time. Anyway, let's talk just a little bit. The appointment overall went well. The assumption that I had was that I was going to be having like a stress test or something today, but that was actually not what he wanted to do. He wants me to have to wear like a heart monitor to look into that, but they're all out of them right now, so they won't have another one until next week. So that'll be something that happens next week. I'll be going back to the office to pick up a heart monitor and wear that for some amount of time, probably a day or two, I don't know. And that'll just give them more insight into what the rhythm of the heart is doing. And then I'll also be back again next month, because that's the earliest availability they have for an echocardiogram. That's what you just had not long ago, buddy. Yeah, me and you both now. Me and you both. Anyway, so that stuff's coming up. And again, getting these tests does not necessitate that there's anything particularly wrong, because I explained to the cardiologist, and, you know, his response is mostly like, well, you know, we're going to do things that give us more data, which makes sense. So we'll see how that goes. However, he had access to the blood work that was just done, and he was like, your cholesterol's really high. And I was like, trust me, I know. Like, ain't nobody know better than me. Like, I've been told that my whole life. For those watching that don't know, we have hereditary high cholesterol in my family, which means that my LDL levels have always been elevated. And the fun story that I like to tell is that my mom had blood work done one time, and her LDL levels were high, and her doctor was like, you got to stop eating red meat, Deb. And my mom, who has been a vegetarian for practically forever, was like, I haven't had red meat in over 30 years. So, it's a hereditary thing, and it sucks because it's just inherently elevated without doing anything special. And he was like, he's like, this number is concerning. He's like, even with it being hereditary, he's like, this is concerning. He said, do you know what your numbers have been in the past? And I'm like, well, they've always been high. I said, there is a chance that these numbers are higher than they've ever been. He's like, well, let me put it this way. He's like, if it was just a little higher, he's like, I wouldn't even be asking you to go on medication. He's like, I would be telling you. And I said, okay. I said, well, I've been told my whole life that I have high cholesterol. And I said, the opinion of what we should do varies between the doctors that I talk to. Because I've spoken to a lot of different doctors over the last 15 years or whatever about it. And everyone's opinion is completely different. Some of them are like, this is alarming. You need to start meds. That's some people's opinion. And then the other opinion is, you are young. This is something that you do not even have to think about until you're probably 40. Your risk is so incredibly low. And today, the doctor was like, okay, I get that. I understand the two schools of thought. He said, but here's the thing. He said, you are not immune from a heart attack. He's like, these levels are still high. And while it's true that you're young and that you probably would not have any problems, you could. it is not impossible for you to experience a heart attack, based on these numbers. He's like, so my opinion as a cardiologist is like, why take the risk? He's like, that inevitably you're going to have to start medication for this. He's like, you're delaying the inevitable. He's like, wouldn't it be better to start it now, get your LDL levels down, and then, you'll be already used to the medication and you'll be on it and you don't run the risk of potentially having a heart attack in the next 10 years. And I was like, okay. And this is something that, again, I get different information all the time. The doctor that I saw, the general care doctor that I just saw a week ago, had a completely different opinion. They were like, your LDL, in fact, I talked about it in the vlog, I'm sure, where she was like, your LDL levels are elevated, but your HDL? HDL levels are really good, and that combats it, and like, I'm not worried about it. She's like, you're young, it'll be fine. And now the cardiologist today is like, I don't like this. And he said that he didn't go into it, but he said he had a heart incident or something in his mid-30s. So maybe like that, whatever it was that he experienced is enough for him to be like, don't mess around with this. Just be on medicine. You're going to have to be on medicine at some point in your life anyway. Just start it. So I said, okay. And we talked a little bit about the fact that, like, because of who I am and like the life I've lived and my body type and all this stuff, the fact that I have a high metabolism, I'm a tall, skinny man. I've never smoked. I've never drank. I don't sit around and eat a ton of junk food. I know that the vlog can skew people's opinions of things sometimes because we tend to only show exciting foods, but we eat really healthy otherwise. We really do. Any of these other factors, if they would have been different, I probably would have had this talk and these things like much sooner. But because I haven't, it's went this long. So I made the decision to do it. So I am going to be starting cholesterol medication because based on what this doctor said, like, I get it, and he's right. I haven't talked to a single doctor who didn't think that someday I wouldn't be on cholesterol meds. They all think that. So like that part is not new. I've understood that someday I probably would be, because it's not like I just sit around and eat nothing but cholesterol. Like I don't. But also knowing that my mom is vegetarian and still has this issue, like even if I went full vegetarian, this is not a problem I'm going to be able to escape from. So, yeah, I've decided to just go for it. So I'll be talking more about that in the next few days. Welcome.
Hi.
Is food almost ready?
My camera went off.
It's exciting. This is a good example. So like yesterday was a bad food example, right? Because we went to a barbecue place and I had some barbecue. I had a fair bit because I always try a lot of barbecue if we go to a new place. And then last night we had pizza. It's a bad example of a day, but like tonight we're having like fish and vegetables. So that's what we do a lot of. But then again, I have to really frame it in my mind of like, it doesn't matter. Now that doesn't mean I shouldn't try. I mean, I should try and obviously always take care of myself. But the bigger thing is like, I'm just going to start these pills and see what happens. See what the side effects are. The side effects are supposedly like very mild if I experience any at all. And that's exciting. So I'm going to give that a shot and see how that goes. And I'll report back on the vlog. But yeah, my LDL levels are really high. And I will be getting blood work again in the next few months. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes. And hopefully it is a change for the better. Hopefully.
You ready for a lot of carrots and onions?
Yeah. I like carrots and onions. I wish we had something green though, like zucchini or broccoli or...
We make a frozen broccoli, but it's not...
Yeah, it's right. We don't need it tonight, but in the future when we do more vegetables. Anyway, we're going to eat dinner and then we're going to get back into Galaxy 2. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm going to go ahead and end the vlog here. I think this is a good stopping point. You know, I'm going to be fine, but it sounds like starting the medication now instead of in 7 years is a better plan. So
Side note, look what my dad sent me today.
We'll talk about that another time. There's enough to discuss for one video. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?